Hiya. This is the start of a new poem called Up in the Clouds. Well, I've done the start and recorded it, but now I've done another bit, so it's going to come in bits and drabs because I think it's going to be really long. So I don't want to do the whole thing when I want to get you into it first. So yeah, I'll do this bit now. So like start and this bit. Um, and if you like it, wicked, you'll watch another one. If not, I'm sorry. But yeah, let me just get it. Hey. Okay, this poem is basically about waking up with someone and being like, oh, this could have been so much more than just this. Well, not even that. Just being like, oh, I don't think this is going to amount to anything, but I wish it would, or bad timing, or ships in the night, or you know what I mean. You know what I mean. I hope you know what I mean. Anyway, okay, this is it. I should have known that something which began and ended in the same room would never rest outside of it. As someone who is usually quite the escape artist, I was willing to stay right there, door locked, curtains wide open at a height that my 5-year-old self definitely would have thought was where the clouds began, not where these sort of things happened. I always wondered why people had sex against walls or on the floor or in lifts instead of a comfier option, and realised up here that it happens because you don't realise you're in a lift or against the wall or on the floor, and up here that was completely fine. I woke up extra quietly and took you in. Time was limited, and I know that this moment would be featured in a montage of memories that you go through on those sleepless nights, so I need to get this memory just right. My footsteps left notes in capital letters in hopes that you'd keep me. But I soon realised that this was pretty ridiculous, so we traced each step and left a "thanks for visiting" postcard beside the bed. I didn't hold myself in any higher regard to consider being anything more than a ship in the night. You hated that, but I knew a discussion of my self-esteem was definitely not something I wanted to do with the time that we had left. I made tea like a ninja and tucked myself onto a windowsill with a view of a place that the mention of the future would only remind me of you. I was closer to the sun than I had ever been, so I whispered if she'd give way to the moon, which shadow was dropping to our right side, so we just had a little bit more time. Thankfully, I didn't ask this out loud. The windows are double glazed, and I'm sure that the sun has a million other things to do than allocate a little bit more time to me and you. But I sat on the windowsill for a little while longer, and dare I say it, but the moon continued to partly curtain the sun as if to say, look, the time isn't up quite yet. I looked back over to the bed and realised I had no idea what to do with the end of my night before you woke up and the morning began. So I moved from the windowsill to the sofa and even contemplated moving all the furniture around just to occupy myself, but stopped after minimal changes. Instead, I put 5 bubble gums into my mouth and crossed and uncrossed my legs about 20 times before returning back to the windowsill and realising that if I continued to put bubble gums in my mouth, I'd probably choke and die. So instead, I put my hand over my mouth as if to catch all the words I'm pretty sure would have fell out, waking you up. And I've had to explain everything leading up to this point and why the coffee table was now moved to the left side of the sofa when last night it was right in front. It's weird, isn't it? Down there, a pairing wasn't a big thing, it wasn't a secret, but I knew without being told that this shouldn't have been spoken of. I wondered if each person had to contain their excitement when kissed, and whether a handhold led someone in to shout real loudly as if you were doing that, because I know that I would. We haven't held hands. I considered holding hands a big thing, and although this was definitely something, I'm not sure the scale of it just yet. Up here it meant everything, but down there each finger space I thought would be filled up like crossing roads, getting the right coach home, work tonight and other stuff. But up here didn't need to be considered, but down there it really mattered. I wondered if you'd think about me on the way home, or whether you'd leave me somewhere between the sheets, and the station. I wondered whether to open the window and breathe out in hope you'd reach the moon, so I'd always be 12 hours away from you. You'd be in a place I knew existed but couldn't get to, and that would be fine, I reckon. I reckon it'd be a safer option. Don't you? I do. I wasn't tall enough to reach the latch of the window, so instead made a temporary notepad on the glass. Drew a heart. I always draw hearts. It doesn't mean anything, I don't think, but someone once told me I was in love with love, and it's always kind of made me think of that. I don't think I am. I wrote your name and then my name and then scribbled it out because a part of me that thinks it's that simple to disregard being is regularly beaten to a pulp by the other side of me that knows for a fact it's never that easy. Thank you. This will be updated like loads, so if you like it, please keep watching. If you don't, I'm really sorry. That's it. I hope you're having a really nice day. Bye.